Welcome back everyone to another video. I'm here to talk to you today about Slayer's Reign in Blood album. Now this is going to be a new series that I do called Classic Album Reviews, where I just review albums from any era and I just talk about them. Now I want to talk about Slayer's Reign in Blood first because, well, it's a legendary album and it was considered groundbreaking back then and it's considered legendary now. And you know what? It totally earns all the acclaim that it gets. I mean, every song is like a buzzsaw to your eardrum. There's not one song that just lags on there. Everything is moving so fast, so quick. That's including the drums, the guitars, the bass, and even the vocals in some songs, like in Jesus Saves. I have a friend actually who can recite most of Jesus Saves word for word and does it flawlessly. It's pretty awesome. But I want to talk about this album because, for one, the first time I heard this album, I want to talk about the first time I listened to this album first. So the first time I ever listened to this album, I was a sophomore in high school. I'm a senior now. I was in U.S. history, and we were allowed to listen to music this one class period. So I was like, alright, I'll turn on an album I haven't heard before, Slayer's Reign in Blood. Alright, let's do it. I had heard Angel of Death, I'd heard Raining Blood, I'd heard Criminally Insane, I heard all those songs. I just never heard the album all the way through. And I remember when I got to the end of Raining Blood, I was like, oh, class must be over now. I look up at the clock. No, there's still about a good half hour of class left. I was like, wow, that was really fast. I can't even believe that. And so I looked at, how long the songs were, and most of them are around 2 to 3 minutes long. I was like, those songs are just so quick, but they're so awesome. It's like a savage beating that just gets harder and harder every time. So this album, I believe there's 10 songs on it. Let's see, let's count them. Angel of Death, Piece by Piece, Necrophobic, Altar of Sacrifice, Jesus Saves, Reborn, Postmortem, Raining Blood, Epidemic. Yeah, it's 10 songs on there. And good lord, are they just absolute beasts. You could review every one of these songs on their own. You could do like a mini review for every song because they're just that good. If Angel of Death and Raining Blood weren't live staples, I guarantee you what 2 of those 10 songs would have been. Like, I don't know, probably Criminally Insane, and I personally would pick Jesus Saves. Or, well, Altar of Sacrifice, too. Like, there's 3 live staples there. Well, 3 used to be live staples. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. Now, this album in particular is considered one of the best albums of all metal, which I can see why. I just don't think it's my personal favorite. Not saying it's a bad album by any means necessary, because it is a fantastic album. I'm just saying, like, I thought Seventh Son of a Seventh Son or Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden were just better. But that's because I'm just an Iron Maiden freak, and Pleasure to Kill by Creator is another great album. I'll talk about that album sometime later. But anyways, this album, Reign in Blood, was released on, I believe, a record company called Def Jam Records, which is in fact a hip-hop kind of record company, which I always thought was really weird. I mean, if you look at it now, there's people like Kanye West on it, and then if you look in their catalog, they have Slayer's Reign in Blood. Like, I just thought that was really funny with the first time I saw that. But let's see, what else is there to talk about this album? See, it's hard to come up with new things about this album because it's been talked about so much. The cover art used to be considered very gory and very, oh, we need to censor that, ugh. But nowadays, it's ever since like you've had the Cannibal Corpse albums come out, you've had the gruesome albums come out, and Dying Fetus, and all these huge death metal bands. That it makes Slayer's Reign in Blood look like a kid in a park in a way. It doesn't have the same shock. Like, even when I first saw it, I was like, okay, like it's not like Cannibal Corpse. The first time you see Tomb of the Mid, you're like, whoa, what is this? But it's still pretty gruesome if you think about it, because you see like heads in this river of blood. Oh, it's just so awesome. But anyways, another thing about this album that I want to talk about is the sound of it. See, it's a little bit quieter because of just during the time. That's just how songs were made. They're a little bit quieter. But the polish, it's so polished and well done that it almost doesn't even matter. You can turn up the volume and it still sounds good. If you can turn it down, it still sounds good. So the polish on this album was absolutely great. All the drums, the guitars, the bass, the vocals, it doesn't feel like there's one thing that's left out. Like, normally the bass is left out, but you can hear the bass. It's really awesome. And that was Slayer's Reign in Blood. This album was released in 1986, along with the same albums as Master of Puppets, Peace Sells, and Among the Living from the Big Four. Have you heard this album before? Well, if you haven't, you really should, because it's a great album, and I suggest you check it out. Alright, I will see you guys in another video.